Then why don't you start on the other side? You could stand on that chair. Oh, no, I can't, Duffy shot right back. You know I'm afraid to climb on stuff. Standing up on a chair 18 inches off the ground isn't climbing, for heaven's sake. You climb higher than that to get into bed at night. That's different, and you know it. But you ought to just try. Come on, I'll help you. Before Duffy could complain further, Claudia scrambled down from the stepladder and was shoving the chair to the tree. Here, you can hang on to my shoulder if you like. Well, I'll try, but I won't like it. Using the slowest possible motion, Duffy set down the flimsy box he was holding and climbed onto the chair. His face noticeably paler, he stood clutching Claudia's shoulder. He was as rigid as a telephone pole. I'm growing dizzy already. Are you sure? I know what dizzy feels like. First your head spins, then you fall over. After that, you throw up. Claudia could see that Duffy was going to get very little tree decorating done from on top of any chair. I guess you better get down then. Duffy didn't need a second invitation. He got off the chair as swiftly and cautiously as a mouse escaping a cat. I'm sorry, Claudia. That's okay, Claudia said. You tried anyway. That's the important thing, trying. Look, while I finish the top of my side, you could do the bottom of the other side. She snatched up a fat hunk of wrinkled tinsel and clambered quickly back up the stepladder. Duffy sucked in his breath. You'd better be careful. Someday you really will fall and break yourself. Never, said Claudia. Didn't I tell you that when I grow up I'm going to be a famous firefighter? I thought you were going to be a famous veterinarian and a famous animal trainer. That's why you're starting up your animal care business. True, replied Claudia. Then 2 weeks ago, Duffy went on, when you got the part of Santa Claus in your school show, you also decided you were going to be a famous actress. True again, said Claudia. I'll be a famous actress who trains horses and then rides around on them putting out fires. You know, like Lady Gorilla. That's Lady Godiva, said Duffy matter-of-factly. And she wasn't an actress, and she didn't put out fires. All she did was ride around on a horse without any clothes on. You wouldn't want to do that all your life, would you? Humph, snorted Claudia. She should have known that Duffy would have all that information. Her father, who liked Duffy a lot, often described him as an 8-year-old body surrounding a 90-year-old brain. Duffy's brain really was stuffed with knowledge. Anyway, Claudia said, there's nothing that says you have to be just one thing. You could be a comedian, a movie director, and a lawyer if you wanted to. I suppose so. Duffy attached a small green ball to the lowest branch of the tree with as much precision as if it were going to hang there forever. Of course, that's all changed. I'm not going to be any of those things anymore. What are you going to be then? A husband and a father. A husband and a father? Claudia nearly toppled off the ladder. Nothing else? There are people in the world who are just husbands and fathers, Claudia. Well, you can't be just that. Claudia looked down at Duffy suspiciously. Are you serious? Duffy grinned. Well, said Claudia huffily, that was a pretty dopey thing to say. It's not so dopey. I was just thinking that if I ever have a kid and his mother works, I'd want to be sure someone besides a nursemaid was always around to keep him company. Claudia understood at last what this was all about. Mrs. Booth had recently, and quite suddenly, decided to return to the advertising agency where she had worked before Duffy was born. Since Mr. Booth was leaving on a business trip, they had decided to hire a temporary housekeeper. What you're getting is not a nursemaid, Duffy, Claudia said. And besides, I thought you didn't mind about it. Duffy grimaced. I didn't until I found out Aunt Madge picked her out. Yuck. Aunt Madge wasn't really Duffy's aunt, but a close friend of his mother's, who gave her a great deal of advice on how Duffy should be brought up. Claudia simply didn't like her, but Duffy hated her. I see what you mean, said Claudia sympathetically. But at least you won't have that housekeeper for very long. That's true, agreed Duffy.